If you thought vulture droids or TIE fighters were the worst starfighters in the galaxy, boy are you in for a surprise in today's Star Wars Legends lore video, where we look at the worst starfighter ever. Hey guys, this is EckhartsLadder. Hello and welcome to another Star Wars Legends lore video. It's been a few days since I made a proper video. I've been really busy with Battlefront 2 stuff, but today we've got a fun one. We're talking about Uglies, and not Uglies generally, but one ugly starfighter in particular. For those of you who don't know what an ugly is, it's basically a starfighter cobbled together from multiple different ships. It's very difficult to get a hold of a brand new starfighter in the Star Wars universe. You either have to be a government or some other faction large enough to produce their own fighters, or you have to steal them. Especially when the Empire was in power, it's not like you could, at least easily, just go to the starfighter store and buy a fully militarized X-Wing. This means that smaller factions specifically have to make use with what they have. Sometimes that means using old fighters that they've managed to recover, but sometimes it means using the parts that they've recovered from various battles, hobbling them together, and making a sort of Frankenstein fighter. These, as I mentioned earlier, are called Uglies. Some Uglies actually aren't that bad. When you use a fighter that is on its own fairly decent and just make some small modifications to it, you're not going to have something that's as effective as a stock fighter, but you'll probably have a decent fighting machine. For example, the Scepter, which you can see sort of in the background of this image, is a combination of the X-Wing and the Tye Interceptor. It replaces the S-foils of the X-Wings with the wings of the Tye Interceptor, so it still has the basic components of the X-Wing and also the decent firepower of the Tye Interceptor. I'd still probably take a stock X-Wing, but that ugly is certainly serviceable. All in all, the key to a good ugly, and good is in quotation marks because again, the best ugly is still far below a military grade starfighter, is that you want to use the best components of your composite ships. However, when you're really desperate, sometimes you scrape the bottom of the barrel, and you make abominations and terrible starfighters like the one we're looking at today. The TIE Fighter and the Y-Wing are both purpose-built starfighters which excel because they are very good at doing specific things. The TIE Fighter is very fast, very maneuverable, and can deliver a decent amount of firepower quickly. However, with that in mind, the ship greatly lacks shields and is very brittle. On the other hand, the Y-Wing is a very durable but also very slow bomber. It can inflict massive damage, it has very powerful shields, but it's not great at doing any sort of maneuvers or avoiding enemy fighters. There is actually one way to combine parts of these ships to make a decent starfighter. You take the wings of the TIE Fighter and the body of the Y-Wing, and you have a decent, high-tolerance bomber. However, if you don't have those parts, you get to make the worst starfighter in the galaxy, the Tye Wing. The Tye Wing, or as it's known by others, the Tye Y, or what I personally call the Y-Wing, is just a terrible starfighter. It emphasizes the worst parts of both the TIE Fighter and the Y-Wing. Because the Ugly is built around the body of a TIE Fighter, it is unshielded and very brittle. The ship also uses the engines of a Y-Wing, which makes the Ugly comparatively slower, less maneuverable, and just generally a lot less effective than a standard TIE Fighter. So basically that gives you a TIE Fighter without its speed and a Y-Wing without its armament or protections. The TIE Wings see most of their action in the Rogue Squadron comic books. In issues 27 and 28, Rogue Squadron faces off against a group of Uglies. At one point, Hobby has 3 on his tail and asks for help from the rest of the group. Jansen responds that if you can't shake a T-Fighter, then you deserve to get vaporized. I think that line basically well represents the capabilities of the worst starfighter in the galaxy. You'd never scoff at being chased by 3 TIE Fighters, but even 4 or 5 of these Uglies are no match for a single X-Wing starfighter. Don't get me wrong, it's better than nothing, and of course, any ship with a good pilot can do some damage as long as it's mechanically stable, but I would never choose to fly these things if I were a pilot in the Star Wars galaxy, and in my mind, these are the worst starfighters ever present in Star Wars Legends. That, however, is just my opinion. Let me know down in the comments what you think of Uglies, if you can think of a worse starfighter, and of course, any ideas you have for future videos. I'd really like to do a versus episode, maybe tomorrow or the next day, so if you have any of those ideas, I know you'll let me know down in the comments. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. As always, this has been EckhartsLadder. May the Force be with you.